Hey guys, Revan here, and welcome back to episode 5 of AstroBlock. Today, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into Android options, and we're going to look to get to the moon. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. So between episodes, I really didn't do a whole lot. I moved my machines down here into the basement with us, and I routed a little bit of powering cable. As you can see, I tossed an energy cell up here and just ran some cabling up and down through the ceiling to at least these first sections over here on this half. I really haven't touched that half at all, but as we progress on and get more machines, we can utilize more wall space. Now, we ended off last episode where we just became an android. And as you can see, I did make a high capacity battery. It wasn't very difficult to make. But I did not upgrade any of my slots here, just mainly because I wanted to take you guys along for that ride. Now, the first thing that I want to upgrade, and I'm not sure how much XP I'm actually going to need for each one, so I don't know if I'm going to have enough. So this says 18 XP. I'm not sure if that means 18 levels or some other version of it. But one of the first things I want to do is this 0 calories. So this will replace my need to eat food. And essentially, as I take damage, it will replace my food requirement with energy. So if I click on this, all right, so yes, that did take a full 18 levels. All right, nanobots is kind of the same thing. If your hunger bar is full, you're going to regenerate health. So in our case, we no longer have a hunger bar. We have an energy bar. So as long as we have energy, our health will regen. So I'm going to click on that and get the first level, which only leaves me with 18 levels. So limb overclocking is speed. I'm not really going to care about that right now. But since we need to start heading towards the moon relatively soon, I think what I'm going to go for is removes the need for oxygen. All right. And that should be good for there. I'm going to have to try to farm up more levels. And unfortunately, there really aren't any mob XP farms in this game. The closest thing that we're going to get is going to be in deep mob learning. I believe the extraterrestrial matter will give us XP. But we haven't gotten into that yet. That's something I do want to get into soon, but I'm kind of finding myself bottlenecked just by exploration. So I've kind of reached the point where I need to go to the moon, and then I need to start going to the rest of the planets, because on Earth, your resources are fairly limited. You get things like osmium, some copper, iron, tin, and that's really going to be about it. I tried making the environmental tech ore miner, thinking that, hey, if I can get one of those going, I can passively start generating ores. But the issue is the ore miner itself, the controller. It requires a very specific item that we don't have and we won't have until very near end game. And that's going to be dark iron. So as far as I could tell, dark iron is on planet Eris, which, as you can see, is pretty much all the way at the end of the Galactic Craft line here. So I'm pretty much just going to have to give up on passive ore gen for now. And so that kind of leaves us to the point where we need to go into space, we need to go to the moon, and then we need to continue on to the other planets to get the different types of ores and stuff like that. I have been moving my digital ore miner kind of across the map, and I did run into an issue, so I kind of will make a PSA warning here. I put my digital ore miner off in that direction and utilize the mechanism chunk loader that goes inside the digital miner, and 2 times in a row it caused a ticking tile entity for the digital miner and crash the game. So I had to go in, disable the digital miner, come back in, spawn in a new one, and did that twice. So I would suggest using something like, I think this pack has chunk loaders. Yeah, it has the chicken chunks. I would probably go with a chicken chunk loader as opposed to the mechanism chunk loader that goes into the machine. But we're gonna get to that a little bit later. So we've leveled up about as much as we can on on being an android. And the next thing that I wanted to get into was some sort of storage system. Now, I'm nowhere close to actually having AE, but what I'm thinking is just going for simple storage. It's going to be a ways before I get the interdimensional crafting and all that good stuff, but I can at least get something set up in the base. So what I'm going to do is, if you're not familiar with simple storage, it's a lot like AE. However, what it uses for storage is things like chests or drawers and stuff like that. So you essentially have a centralized system, a wire going from that system to each one of the chests that you're using, and you use it pretty much just like refined storage or an AE drive at that point in time. But since we need a bunch of chests hooked up to it, I'm thinking I'm not really liking these crystal chests, mainly because they kind of glitch in and out, and I'm sure that they're causing some lag in the game. The obsidian chest, I don't think we need to go all that high up to it. I think we can actually just stop at diamond chests. They should be the same size as the crystal chest, maybe a little bit smaller, but as long as we keep enough of them. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to place them right in here. So I'll have my terminal here, and then I'll have all of the chests kind of going in a row around it, and that should suit our needs relatively good, at least for the time being. So I'm going to collect up the resources that I need to craft all that stuff, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we should have everything that we need to actually craft this simple storage system up. So there are a few important parts that you're going to need. We're just going for the basic storage system. We're not going for anything that can do processing or anything like that. So what we need is going to be somewhat limited. But you're always going to need a storage master, a request table, which is going to act like your crafting table, some storage cables, and storage link cable. Now that's what you're going to actually hook up to the different chests and whatnot. So let's start off. We're going to need some of the cables, which are just going to be quartz fiber and compressed steel. And then we're going to use some heavy duty plate tier 2, which are just heavy duty plate tier 1s, and some meteoric iron plates. And the tier 1 plates are a little bit of a pain to make because they're 2 compressed steel, 2 compressed aluminum, and 2 compressed bronze. So they're a little bit more difficult. So if you're going to make the heavy duty plates, I would highly suggest, making them in bulk. But we should be able to grab our storage network master. And then let's grab a few more of these cables here. Yeah, that should be fine. And then we're going to need some gold, which we are running out of. So we're going to have to figure out a few more of those guys. And one crafting table. Not a problem. There we go. So that is essentially the basics of our system right there. And then we need some of these link cables. I did get one from a quest, but we're going to need probably at least 2 more here. And then the last thing that we're going to need is going to be some type of chest. Now this pack, again, it doesn't have a whole lot for different chests and stuff like that you can use. It doesn't have crates or anything like that. So we are just going to be utilizing these iron chests here. And those are just diamond chests, which you upgrade. An iron chest is a regular chest surrounded by iron. Gold is an iron chest surrounded by gold. Diamond chest is, well, some glass and diamonds. It's actually quite a bit cheaper to make up here. But we are going to take let's take our storage network master. We'll toss that down there, and then we can put our request table on top, our storage cables, and run them up like we had originally planned, and then take our link cables and toss them right there. And looks like we're gonna need one more link cable. Let me just grab that real quick. What were you? So we're gonna need a few more of these, which means we're gonna need more quartz fiber. Zoop, zoop, zoo. couple more steel plates. Not that many steel plates. I always love it when it has to be in a very particular location. Makes things very easy. All right. And then we can come down here and we'll just toss that up there. And then we can take our chests like we were doing before. And come on. You do have to shift click them on, otherwise you'll access the inventory of here. And you can set these up to have filters on them, but for now at least we're just going to leave it like that. Now I will say this is going to make my inventory very messy, because when we take items in and out of the crafting unit right here, so like I just tossed in some Certus quartz, it's going to go to a random chest. And we can't open those two. So it's in one of these two. We know that. And because it's in there, if we take it out and then we place it back in, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go back to the same chest. In this case, it seems like the priority that it's assigning is one of these two. But as we fill this up and take more stuff in and out, we are eventually going to just end up with just this horrible mess of items. Now, it's not really all that bad, because there are storage export cables. So what we can do at a later point when we get an ME system, if we don't want to empty out each one of these chests individually, we can just hook up an export cable and export items into the ME system. But for now, this is going to pretty much act as our main crafting station. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to start transferring all of our stuff up here into these chests down here. So I'm going to get that done and then I'll be right back. And we are complete. So as you can see, when I come up top here, all of my storage is now gone, other than the chests that I have running over here, or the drawers. And I now have it all in these diamond chests with, I did add on these crystal chests just because of the fact that I pretty much almost filled up the storage that I had. I do have a lot of junk, but we now have a centralized location for all of our items. So that should make crafting a little bit easier. I am going to actually have to add on to this as we go, add more chests, because eventually all of this stuff will fill up and I won't be able to use anything. But hopefully, before it gets too out of hand, we can actually make an ME system. All right, so we've upgraded our Android and we have made a storage system. So now, like I mentioned before, the next thing that we need to do is we need to start looking into going to the moon. Now, there are a few other quests that I can do here. I can make a deconstructor, space warp pad. I ended up getting one of those orbs. I'm sorry, one of the cores for a quest, but the warp pads I don't think I've ever gotten. So if we type in warp here, yeah, we haven't gotten any of the warp pads. Those are tier 3 heavy duty plates, so I'm not in a huge rush to make those. The moon buggy is going to be nice for when we actually go up to the moon, but again, I'm not in a huge hurry to make it. One of the things that we need to make, though, is the telescope, and that's how we actually discover the moon. So for this, let's see what we're going to need. We're going to need some tin, aluminum, and diamond. So let's just see, what do we actually have? We pretty much need the tin and the aluminum. So let's grab up some tin. 2 of these will be fine, and I believe it was aluminum, right? Let's see, aluminum 1, 2. We'll just grab 4. We'll grab 2 more of the tin as well, just to be safe. And then let's go compress these. All right. Another thing I made kind of in my off time was this ore dictionary, mainly because of the fact that some of the items that you need for crafting of the Galactic Core craft will only want you to use the Galacticraft stuff. So I think it was like lead and a few other items, like in this case tin. It wasn't, one of the recipes wasn't actually taking the mechanism tin in place of the Galacticraft tin. So I just made a quick Ordic, and yeah, kind of did that. And then this setup right here was just for making concrete. However, I don't need concrete, so because, yeah, let's just turn that to inputs. Yeah, I was making this because for the environmental tech, but since I can't do it, there's really not much use to have that continue. But we at least have it set up if we ever actually do get there. So then we should just need tin here, move you down there, and then we should get our telescope. Now, I don't know if this actually needs to be outdoors. I do know that it needs power, but for the sake of science and being somewhat accurate, we are actually going to take this guy outside, and then we can just hook up a power source to it. So we'll just go downstairs and grab our, actually no, we don't even need to, we'll just grab our spare energy cell from right here. Slurp. And then we're gonna need, I believe, the moon schematic. I think we need research paper. As you can tell, I've played around with Galacticraft a lot here. Like, I know we had something that said something about the moon. So let's grab that. We can toss you guys back in here. And I believe we just toss this into our telescope with a little bit of power. All right, so it looks like we need to use a battery. So I tried running wires to it. I tried putting it on top of the energy cell. None of that seemed to work. I tried putting the energy cell in here, and that didn't seem to work either. So we are going to toss in this zinc battery from Extra Planets, which will work. And then just kind of let this run up to 100% here, which shouldn't take too long. All right, so we have discovered the moon. So we'll take that back, which now means that once we actually get a rocket, we can go to the moon. So let's just collect this reward right here, just in case we get anything good. We don't, we get some heavy wire. And then dimension, the moon. So before we go to the moon, it doesn't look like we need the tier 2 rocket. We should be able to get there with the tier 1. So let's collect that up real quick. And since we're going to the moon, I think now is a good time, if any, to come back here and retrieve the fuel that we missed. So we'll just toss that in there and we should be good to go. And one of the last things that I want to grab before we get going here is a chunk loader. Like I said, I don't want to actually be utilizing the digital miner chunk loader just because of the fact that it gave me the ticking entities. I'm not going to really trust that right now, but we should have everything we need. We should just be able to run up here, toss down. Let's see, where's a good place? I guess this is a good place right now. We'll just toss you guys down right here. Toss our rocket on, and let's see, fuel loader. We just have to rotate this. Oh, and of course, it's going to actually want me to utilize the correct wrench. All right. Now that we got that in place, we'll toss down our energy cell. And if we can click it correct, everything should be on output. And we'll just toss some fuel up in there. And that should fuel our rocket up. So we should almost be ready to go to the moon. So let's just make sure. Let's do a check right here. We have a dungeon locator. We have an extra tank, a battery just in case. We have our flux capacitor, so we should have a decent amount of energy, and diamond. Now, we do have an extra capacitor, which might be worthwhile if we can upgrade that real quick. Let's see here. So what is this going to actually take for us to upgrade to the next step here? Can we do... All right, we can do the Invar one, and can we do the Flux one? We can. All right, so now we'll actually have 2 capacitors, and that will help us out a lot. That'll prolong the time that we can actually do stuff there. And how is our battery coming? Our battery is a little bit low. One of these days, I shouldn't say one of these days, but one of the things I need to do is actually make a wireless charger for my Android. So at least when I'm at the base, I won't actually have to worry about using energy. It does have a wireless charger, but from my understanding, that really only affects the items that you have in your inventory. And since we already have these flux capacitors, it doesn't really make sense to purchase that. And once we get into flux networks, you know, we won't even really have to use our capacitors. So yeah, we'll be good there. So we're full. And how's our jetpack? Is good. All right. I think we have everything that we need. Let's go check on our rocket. And we are full. So let's hit the space bar, plug our ears because this is going to be loud, and let's blast off to the moon. All right, so now we just got to find the moon. I think we just click on the overworld, the moon, and we should be good. Now, I did remember something the moment I hit the space bar. I don't think I brought my teleporter with me. So hopefully we have enough fuel to get back. Otherwise, we are going to have a bad day. We might just have to make sure that we die. Either way, we're going to have to come back here to actually set up a teleportation site. So let's launch out to the moon. All right, so we need to hold the space bar to slow down. I can't see the moon yet, so I don't know how often I should be hitting this space bar here. All right, I'm starting to get some black coming up on the screen. I'm assuming that's the moon. There we go. Ooh, this is a pretty place. Nice and gray. All right, and we have touchdown. Nice. So should just be able to shift out. And let's see here. We can collect our rocket. We'll grab what fuel we have left. Although it doesn't seem to, there it goes. Doesn't always seem to want to go into the portable one for whatever reason. But let's set ourselves a waypoint right here. We'll call this lander. And we can save that. All right, now, important part. Did I actually forget? I did forget it. Okay. So, not a big problem. We'll just make sure that if we don't have enough fuel in the rocket to get home, if we die, we'll get teleported home anyways. So, we'll just set this guy up over here. We'll take the chunk loader. And I didn't bring... I did not bring the power thing. So, I think I'm going to have to just bite the bullet and get myself killed real quick, teleport back to Earth, and then come back here with the stuff that I need. So, BRBs. And we're back. So thankfully I had just enough fuel on me to get home because dying did not work. It just brought me right back here. So I had to go back to Earth and then back here after making a little bit more fuel. So, but we have our energy cube, which we can toss up, and I'm going to configure this to be, let's see, a radius of 32, and we're going to do ORDIC. So what I normally do is just do asterisk or asterisk, and that should find any ore that's on the planet. So it looks like we're going to get some gold, which is going to be awesome. So let's save that. We'll come over here. We'll toss in our energy modules and we'll hit start. So 251. There's not going to be a whole lot of ores, but you know, actually let's stop. Reset configure just because it didn't seem there. I just want to verify that I actually hit 32 here. So all right, that's a little bit better. 2,000 some ores, but I just realized I didn't bring a chest. Not a big whoop. We can come back here. What we want to do here is, I believe if we just shift, we can say moon, add, and now we now have a way back and forth from here, back to Earth, and back to the moon. So what do we do here? Obviously, we collect ores. And that should be good. Actually, we don't even need that one. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Well, since we're here, we need to find a dungeon. So that's where this dungeon locator comes in. And it's like any other compass, it's just going to point us to where we need to go to fight the boss for the moon. And I believe we should get the schematic for, I think, either the next planet or for the next tier of spaceship. So I'm gonna kind of make my way over to the dungeon. We may have to do more than one, but I think this episode at least we'll just do one so I can show you guys what it looks like, and I can find the other schematics in between episodes. But yeah, I'll bring you guys back as soon as I get there. After a little bit of traveling, we did manage to find ourselves a second dungeon. The reason I say it's second is the recording from the first dungeon failed on me. All the sound cut off and everything like that, and I just didn't feel like, doing a voiceover for it. So we're going to treat this as just kind of an introduction to what the dungeons look like on the moon here. So we just drop down and find our pet here. There we go. Do we have any fish on us? We don't. So our night vision, it is not going to be great, but we'll survive. I suppose we could always do the good old torch it up. Ooh, got some baddies right off the bat. All right, let me just come in here. There's going to be some spawners, which we can just take out. And we'll just kind of make our way through here. And we're already at the end boss. Now, a little bit of knowledge on the boss. Once I enter this room, the boss will spawn in. It's not actually that Enderman right there. And once he spawns in, if I leave, it'll reset the fight. So if I leave and go back in when he only has like a quarter health left, it'll actually treat it like I just started. So let's just go in here and kind of fly up to the top, take this guy out. Now this guy just kind of shoots you, and if you get close enough, I'll show you. He'll pick you up and then try to throw you into the wall. But thankfully, there's enough iron fences around it that's not really going to land us in the lava, but that's what he's trying to do. But there we go. He is down for the count. And we can just toss this. What do we get? Ooh, spider legs. Sounds delicious. So when you kill the boss, you'll get a dungeon key and a bunch of experience. And that key will, if I can find it, open up a chest for us down here. Now, just right click the key in and we get our tier 2 rocket schematic and some other stuff that I'll take just because the raw meteoric iron is actually pretty good, but we don't need the string or the spider eye. We can toss that stuff back. Plenty of redstone. Don't need the bow. Music disc. Yeah, we'll take it. But yeah, that's the boss. So we've made it to the moon, we've found ourselves a dungeon, and we've completed it. So I think I'm going to call it an episode there as the game kind of glitches in and out. But as always, guys, I do appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. It helps me out a lot. Lets me know that I am putting out stuff that people are willing to watch. And as always, be awesome, stay safe, and I'll see you later.